Are you 65 or turning 65 soon? Then you need to give Medicare expert Myriam and her dream team at United Insurance Experts a call today. They specialize in Medicare and will guide you in making the right choice for your specific needs. One plan doesn't fit all. United Insurance Experts offer you choices: Blue Cross, Humana, Aetna, United Healthcare, and many, many more. Call Myriam at United Insurance Experts at 561-464-CARE. That's 561-464-2273. Medicare can be very confusing. Myriam is here to help. Call Myriam today at 561-464-CARE. That's 561-464-2273. Myriam will educate you with no obligation on your part. Or visit UnitedInsuranceExperts.com. 561-464-CARE or UnitedInsuranceExperts.com. United Insurance Experts is headquartered in Boca Raton and licensed nationally, speaks English, Portuguese, and Spanish. Good morning and welcome to Medicare Made Simple with Medicare Myriam. Medicare Made Simple is brought to you by United Insurance Experts. Call today 561-464-CARE. That's 561-464-CARE. Now here's Medicare Myriam.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for tuning in. I'm your host, Miriam Leva with United Insurance Experts. United Insurance Experts is not affiliated with or endorsed by the government or the federal Medicare program. We do not offer every plan available in your area. Currently in Palm Beach County, we represent 10 organizations which offer 49 products. Please contact Medicare at 1-800-MEDICARE or go online to Medicare.gov to get information on all of your options. The purpose of this show is to educate you on Medicare and to connect you with valuable resources. So today I will be discussing the annual enrollment period, which occurs from October 15th through December 7th. We'll cover the notice of changes that you may have already received or expect to receive in the coming week. Additionally, I have a special guest, Jonathan Asbell, who will be joining us shortly to share valuable insights on reverse mortgage, how to stay in your home, and much more. So make sure to stay tuned. So let's start with the annual election period. If you have original Medicare or a Medicare Advantage plan, this is the time to look at your options, right? So let's talk about a scenario here. Let's say original Medicare and you want to pick a Medicare Advantage for the new year. You can do that during the annual election period, okay? You can look at these options. You can actually speak to your agent and see which option makes sense for you. If you are on a supplement plan and you want to drop that supplement plan and go to an Advantage plan, make sure you get an approval on that supplement plan before dropping the Medicare Advantage plan, okay? This is a must. You cannot drop that Advantage plan for the new year and then in January say, hey, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and get that supplement now. Because what happens is these supplement plans, if you're not in a guaranteed issue, they will be asking you medical questions. And if you don't pass and you don't qualify, then you won't be able to get on that supplement. And then unfortunately, you can't just jump on an Advantage plan then. So it's so important that you make sure that you get on that supplement plan if that's what you want to do. Get that approval before dropping that Medicare Advantage. You can also switch from one Medicare Advantage to another. If it makes sense to you, talk to your agent. You can call us to see if there's something else that makes sense. Then you can make that switch for the new year. Part D, like I've been talking about for the past few months, there's major changes on the prescription drug side for 2025, which is actually a good thing, but there's a lot of changes depending on that carrier. You could see a lot of, if you received your notice of change, you will see that maybe some prescription drugs are qualified at a higher tier or a lower tier. So please make sure that you review your Part D plan this year with your trusted agent, or you can call us at 561-464-2273. Got to keep in mind that there is no charges, okay? So there shouldn't be an agent out there charging you to review your current plan and switching you to another if it makes sense, okay? So that's why, again, it's so important for you to review. Or you could also call the back of the card. You can talk to the carrier directly. You can ask them if you'd like, if it makes sense for you to make that switch. But my recommendation is to talk to a licensed agent. Let's talk about the notice of change. Okay, the notice of change, you should have received it already because it typically goes out that second to third week of September. But if you haven't, it's okay. If it goes past September 30th, then I would contact the carrier and say, hey, can you please get a copy of that notice of change? It's so important that you review it. Because what is the annual notice of change? It's a document that explains the changes to your current plan for the new year. So if there's a change, you won't see it until January 1st, okay? So this is so important because I'll sometimes get individuals who says, oh, I haven't seen a change in my coverage. Well, remember, it won't happen till January 1st. And if you didn't make a change during the annual election period, you kind of are stuck with it unless you have some kind of a special enrollment period that will allow you to make a change. So again, review. When do the changes take place? It takes place January 1st, not in September, not in October, not November. It's January 1st, okay? So that completes my education on Medicare for today. So let me introduce you to Jonathan Asbell. He is the principal at Real Places Investment Group based in Palm Beach County, but with customers across New England, the Northeast, and the Southeast U.S. The experts at Real Places use their specialized knowledge in finance and real estate to provide seniors and their families with more choices. He has assisted numerous individuals with solutions that include remaining in their current residence, greater choice in lifestyle, living arrangements, and location, protection of savings and inheritance, in-home assistance, tax shelter, cost savings, subsidizing of an owner's HOA, taxes, insurance, mortgages, new streams of monthly income, providing affordable and or time-limited ownership, and qualifications for otherwise disqualified senior services and facilities. Let's welcome Jonathan Asbell. Good morning.
You. Thanks, Myriam. How are you?
You know what? I'll be honest. Today's been crazy. I have to say that.
It's all good.
And it's okay, right? It's okay to say that things are not perfect this morning, right? Starting with my coffee, that it's so important. But, Jonathan, tell us a little bit about you.
So, let's talk about what I think what the audience wants to hear, which is, what are they facing and how can they benefit from it? And I think, pretty much you probably agree that costs have gone up. Eggs and bacon, 30%.
My coffee.
Your coffee. That's why you got water.
And it's water.
Obviously, everyone's taxes have gone up for their real estate. Their homeowners and condo association fees have gone up because the things that go into furnishing those services have gone up. Yeah. The products, the services, the people, the labor. Insurance has gone up. There's really not much that hasn't gone up except for salaries. And older people are on fixed incomes. So they've largely have what they have, and they're worried about burning through their savings. And it's an understandable fear.
Of course. I mean, I have that fear, even for my parents. My mom's still working, and it's tough for her. And I always think, like, okay, what would happen if she stops working? She needs that income. Yeah. And it's just so sad to see this. Now, what aside from what you're seeing today, what have you seen seniors and families do to solve these issues?
I mean, I really see a lot of flailing around and desperation, and the worst thing is that people don't know what they do, and then they get this call that the house almost burned down or someone forgot something. It's not just because it has nothing to do with people being having dementia or anything like that, although that does happen. But it just happens because we're overwhelmed. Everyone's overwhelmed. Yeah. The emails, the text, the communication, everything's sped up and overwhelmed. There are more bills. I mean, a lot of people dread the beginning of the month because that time to pay bills, it's just overwhelming, all these different things to pay. Yeah. And, it may be easier for us younger people because we're used to computers and internet and stuff and being in the fast lane. They did not grow up that way. So it's stressful for them. So I think what you see is people who are suffering under the pressure of things moving so fast, things getting very expensive, things being very complex. The laws have not gotten easier. They've gotten more complex. More every year there's a new rule why someone is disqualified for something, whether it be health care or insurance or whatever it is.
I see that.
And so, what are families doing? I don't know that they're all really doing much. They're just kind of waiting till something happens. And I think that's a big mistake, and that there are more solutions than they think.
Okay. So what I know that we mentioned, we were talking earlier about reverse mortgages. Is that a solution?
I mean, it is a solution, and without getting into my opinions, I will say that reverse mortgages they're very restrictive.
Okay.
Just like anything, things are restrictive. And when you have a reverse mortgage, you have to live in that house. It has to be your primary house. You can't rent it.
Okay.
You can't leave it for 6 months.
So, I mean, I'm kind of clueless about, real estate mortgages.
Mm-hmm.
What is reverse mortgage? What is to have one?
So reverse mortgage implies that the property that you own has some equity, or rather the amount that you own of the house, the part that's not a mortgage, right? It's the amount of equity in the house, and they use that equity, that part of the house that you own, to pay for things, like a credit card in some ways, if you want to think about it that way. But what it is used for is to pay for
living.
The living. Yeah, you can
day to day.
You don't necessarily get a day-to-day income from it, but your mortgage that you would otherwise be paying out of your savings, you're paying out of the equity of your house. So your equity is reducing. You own less and less of the house as each month goes. So you might have started, let's say that your mom had a house, she owned everything and she wanted to have a reverse mortgage. She would do that because she wanted to take some money out, some cash that she might need.
Okay.
Maybe to have a vacation or just to take care of some things. And so she might get a reverse mortgage to withdraw some money out of the house equity. And then the equity in the house would continually be reduced from that point at some rate. So that she would own less and less of the house as time goes by.
Oh, I see. Okay. So that program could actually benefit many individuals.
It can.
Depending on their situation, right? And
Yeah.
what they need that money for. Okay, so that is one. Now, I know that it's very restricted. When you apply, I guess
You have to qualify.
you have to qualify depending on that equity.
Depending on the equity, and also there's some income requirements.
Oh,
Yeah,
so you
so
have to have an income?
You don't have to have an income, but you have to have enough money coming in from certain places for them
I
to be
see.
willing, because taxes and insurance are not included.
Interesting.
And that's where older people get in trouble, is they
Yeah.
don't pay the taxes and insurance, and all of a sudden they're in foreclosure.
So it's not for everyone. You definitely
Well,
have
how
to
does
get
that
the
happen?
yeah.
Let's talk about how would it happen. Well,
Yeah.
it would happen because prices have gone so high,
Yeah.
and they're spending their money on their food and their health care and I don't know, whatever else they're spending it on, and they're not paying their taxes. And they're not paying their insurance. If they default on insurance, then what happens is the mortgage company, the bank, will put what's called forced insurance. They will put their own insurance in there. It will be 3 times the cost. And now the equity of the house is being reduced at a ridiculous rate. If they don't force insurance, I'm not sure if in some cases they might not force insurance. They might just try to foreclose on them. And we don't want, older people being foreclosed on. That's not a way to take care of society.
No. Now, are there other programs that are similar to reverse mortgage that are out there here in Palm Beach County?
There are. I mean, and you sell insurance. Your company is insurance, and there are things that you can create for older people that give them income, like annuities and things like this, and different living benefits within insurance. You have that, and then there's people like me who try to say, well, we know that at some point someone might decide to move in with a family member or move it into an independent living or just whatever. They want to do something else.
Right.
I don't want them to be foreclosed on because they want to do something else. What if they want to go away for 6 months to go visit their kids in New York,
Right.
and it ends up being a long-term stay? Maybe someone gets hurt or something happens. turns into a long-term stay, and the bank that's monitoring this decides, well, she's not living there, and they go to foreclose. So reverse mortgages are restrictive. So what we're trying to do is provide the attributes, the benefits, the kind of features that a reverse mortgage has without the restrictions. And we do that by, for example, agreeing to pay their taxes and insurance so they don't have to get a reverse mortgage. Now, what do we get out of it? Well, ultimately, down the line, at some point in time, we'll end up buying that house. Okay. So that's how we benefit, because we'll own the house later. And what will we try to do with that house from that senior? We will try to put another senior in there who couldn't afford that house because of the costs and all the different things that they may not qualify for. We can help them actually go in that house so that the person who's living there now that owns it, we can help them stay in it when they want to leave, or if they want to rent, they can, or if they want to go to an independent living or move in with a family member, they can. At some point in the future, the house will be sold to us, and then we will take that house, we'll turn around and put another senior in there that couldn't afford it.
Interesting. And what is there a name for this?
It's called creative financing. It's what investors do. When people think of investors, everyone thinks, oh, he's going to give me a low ball offer. He's going to, he's just being, and that's certainly one type of way of investing. It's not the kind that I do unless someone desperately needs cash for whatever reason. But when we're handling older people and trying to help them, we're trying to give them the options that they want. We want to respect them. We want to thank them for their contribution to society, and we want to take care of them. And the way we do that is by giving them options that they couldn't get in a formal way. For instance, reverse mortgages and other instruments like that.
So you pretty much can help them with all these programs.
A lot of things. We're not likely to be able to fund someone's living existence, but we can handle a lot of different costs that will open up options for them and give them more flexibility and money.
Okay. So that makes... Now, I think HOA, because my mother has an issue with her HOA. It's like every month there's something new, right? The elevator broke. Something's going on. Mm-hmm. Now, I know we mentioned HOA, and I'm sure many individuals are having issues with HOA. Where do you come into place if they have this?
The HOA is if you're in a community or a condo building, it's part of the costs, and they're going up because the labor they use to fix the elevators and fix everything, that has all gone up because gas has gone up, because electricity has gone up, and all the inputs that go into the products and the services and everything for the HOA have gone up. And it hasn't gone up a small amount, it's gone up a substantial amount. Now, when you're dealing with condos, now we're in an extra difficult area because older buildings where a lot of people are, there's been new laws passed that have to enforce assessments because things have not been taken care of. We had the Surfside crash, so now they're very aggressive, and older people getting hit with these huge assessments that they can't even afford.
Yeah. So
what are they supposed to do? Were we going to kick everyone out? How does that help our society? We got to find ways of dealing with that and helping people out. And banks have some solutions. They're very compartmentalized, very restrictive. That's, again, where we come in is, we can, without undue risk, we don't want to get into a risky situation where a building, has some huge assessment that we have to pay. We don't want to do that. But we do want to find ways of either supplementing or helping or paying for and helping older people reallocate their money to other things that they need. We just want the property at some point in time in the future at some price.
I see. So it's like the homes being then, it's like a contract that they have to sell it back. They have to sell it to you.
Yeah, it's an agreement. It's an agreement.
Okay. And then you mentioned something about putting another senior there. How does that work? Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah, there's been a movement lately of what a colleague of mine who's an elder law attorney, he calls it the Golden Girl residence, right? So that's where we have a property and we, divide it up into 4 or 8 units.
Okay.
And an elderly person lives in a unit, just like a boarding house, so to speak, right? And there can be a nurse on staff or not. It's called residential assisted living. And it's taking a house and turning it into something more home-like, so that people don't have to go into these institutional buildings and things that can kind of it can be in a regular residential suburban setting.
They have like the freedom. It's like just being in a home, just like a roommate.
It's like a roommate, and they enjoy each other's company, and they have similar interests and concerns and things like that. So that's one way of handling it. That's one way. Has to be zoned to be able to do that. But once it's done and there's a license, each state has a license to do that. But that is a solution that we're using.
I see. Oh, that's very interesting. Okay. So any tips that you can share with us today? Any if someone is going through this, what do you recommend they do aside from, of course, calling you? And we would definitely love if you would tell us your website and phone number, so if anybody has any questions, where they can reach you.
Sure. Well, you can reach us at realplaces.io. It's not .com, not .net. No. .io. Realplaces.io. And you can call my personal phone number, 561-247-5650. And so what are the things that I would kind of recommend? I would recommend that the older people don't want to lose control. They want to decide. They don't want their children to decide. They don't want their friends and other people, and I don't want them to have other people decide for them. So I would like to get into conversation with them about what they want, what they would feel comfortable with, and come up with a custom solution for them. I wouldn't want to. Here's one thing I would stay away from.
Okay.
The knee-jerk selling the property with an agent. I mean, you don't need. That's not a way to maximize your money. There's a lot of other ways to maximize your money without just selling your residence, and we can get into that on a personal one-on-one conversation with each of them. But look, a house is an asset. It costs a lot. It has a lot of value. You can stretch it out much farther than just a quick sale at whatever the market price is. So I would hesitate and look into other solutions. I would look at insurance. I would look at, with living benefits, insurance with living benefits. You can look at reverse mortgages. It doesn't harm you. Make sure you understand what it is. And I would talk to some ethical investors. I'm not the only investor out there. You can always consult an elder law attorney. They know a lot about what can and can't be done. Don't go signing things.
Yes.
And just, do the investigation, have the children of the parents of the seniors contact me so that I can make sure that they're not pushing an agenda, that the older people have the choice, and that they know how I'm going to solve this problem because it's their parents.
Right.
And also because they could also, end up with a huge bill, a huge liability, and they don't have to be. We can set them up so that they're not surprised with a huge cost and have to watch their mom or dad suffer.
Right. Yes. So, again, if anybody would like more information, you can contact Jonathan at 561-247-5650. That number again is 561-247-5650. You can visit their site at realplaces.io. That website again is realplaces.io. If you have any further questions, if you missed that or you'd like more information, you're always welcome to call United Insurance Experts at 561-464-2273. Again, thank you so much, Jonathan, for being with us today.
Absolutely.
Thank you for all your tips. And again, if anybody has any questions, please reach out to Jonathan. That number again is 561-247-5650. I wish everybody a lovely weekend. Thank you for tuning in.
Thanks for listening to Medicare Made Simple with Medicare Myriam right here on Legends 100.3. Medicare Made Simple is brought to you by United Insurance Experts. For more information, call 561-464-CARE. That's 561-464-CARE. Tune in next Saturday at 9 a.m. for more Medicare Made Simple with Medicare Myriam. Are you 65 or turning 65 soon? Then you need to give Medicare expert Myriam and her dream team at United Insurance Experts a call today. They specialize in Medicare and will guide you in making the right choice for your specific needs. One plan doesn't fit all. United Insurance Experts offer you choices: Blue Cross, Humana, Aetna, United Healthcare, and many, many more. Call Myriam at United Insurance Experts at 561-464-CARE. That's 561-464-2273. Medicare can be very confusing. Myriam is here to help. Call Myriam today at 561-464-CARE. That's 561-464-2273. Myriam will educate you with no obligation on your part. Or visit UnitedInsuranceExperts.com. 561-464-CARE or UnitedInsuranceExperts.com. United Insurance Experts is headquartered in Boca Raton and licensed nationally, speaks English, Portuguese, and Spanish.